I wanted to come on here and make this video, and it's very ironic that everything that's going on right now is happening this week. So as we all know, this week, just coming into the week, just started off bad with the murder of George Floyd by that terrorist Derek Chauvin and those other 3 terrorists that was along for the ride. But it also falls on the same week, or going into the same weekend, I should say, of Black Wall Street's 99-year anniversary. From May 30th to, I want to say, June 1st, that was when the Tulsa bombings occurred right here in the establishment known as the USA back in 1921. And I was actually having a conversation about this with Seiji Hito on my live stream that I did the other day, talking about this. And I said, it's just amazing where everything is right now. I keep thinking to myself, what would happen, or what would life be like for us in this country, in this establishment, had Black Wall Street been able to thrive and they were not tampered and messed with? Where would we be economically? Where would we be politically? Where would we be? That's like one major question I've always asked. Unfortunately, I will never get the answer to that. We can only just imagine where we would be. I would definitely say we would be more self-sufficient. I would say that we would be more self-sufficient had this not occurred. And not only to Black Wall Street, but it was multiple Black Wall Streets that were around even before it that got ruined. But this one right here is probably one of the most famous ones. As a matter of fact, I think the last survivor of Black Wall Street passed last year, if I'm not mistaken. The last survivor. You can only imagine what it was like for them having to experience that. As a matter of fact, in the short-lived series that was known as Watchmen on HBO, actually touched on Black Wall Street in its very first episode. And I could not, as well as many other people who were watching at the time, could not believe that they had the nerve to actually touch on that as a subject, because that was something that was not really highlighted in the media like that. The next time we saw a bombing of a black community was in 1985 in Philadelphia for MOVE, M-O-V-E. Dropped a duffel bag of C4 onto one of the complexes where they were organized and blew it up. And in the midst of that happening, destroyed some of the other houses on the block. I remember seeing that footage on YouTube a couple years ago, and was just, my jaw dropped. Like, I could not believe that they actually did that. But then again, I'm like, if they would do that to Black Wall Street, then what would stop them from doing it somewhere else? And that was in 85, and they don't talk about that to this day. They go on as if it never happened. And that, I don't know what that official's name was that was in Philly at the time, but he was that coon that called them to actually do it and gave them the go ahead to drop that bag over that complex and destroy it. And if I'm not mistaken, to this day, it never got fixed back up. They never cleared that out or fixed it up. If they did, they never put anything back there. It's just whatever. It's just the site of where it used to be. And looking at that, it's like you saw the people coming out of the house, and when they tried to get out, they had the terrorists right there ready to shoot them. So they made sure nobody left alive. No men, no women, no children. If you was there, you most likely didn't make it out alive. If the bomb didn't kill you, their bullets did. So you're getting a glimpse of what happens when black people try to come together for their own good and for their own plight. But what happens is there's so many pushback from the opposition, and then that's when terror ensues. Because see, they didn't see them as citizens. They just saw them as savages. That's why I said that 3/5 of a human being, they may not have it written in the Constitution anymore, but the ink is still there. The ink from when it was written is still there on that paper, as far as I'm concerned, with how they treat us still to this day. Leading all the way up to what happens going on with George Floyd, they said that everything's up in smoke. Hey, it is what it is. Look at, Minnesota, Atlanta, LA, DC, New York, Louisville, and I'm predicting there's going to be many more to come as the days continue to go forward. But I just wanted to highlight this because I think I'm making it a tradition to do a highlight video of Black Wall Street at least once a year and always around the anniversary, because I know I've done it for the last couple of years. But next year is going to be very symbolic because it's the 100-year anniversary of it. But somebody's got to talk about it, bring awareness to it, because it's not taught. I would say it's not taught in schools, but then again, nothing's being taught in schools right now because schools are not in session because of the virus. But that was considered one of the first strikes against American people on American soil by Americans. That was one of the first civil wars. In my opinion, it was very one-sided because you saw who had all the weapons. Now, if they had a strong military, they probably would have been successful. We don't know how it would have turned out, but I think they would have had a fighting chance. It was more like an ambush attack, all because they claimed some PC woman was being sexually harassed or attacked by some black man, and I truly believe she was a plant sent there, and they just needed a reason to go there because they just couldn't do it because they needed a reason, and that was their reason. And they always use them as some way to attack us. Like they said, that the white man's last trick would be his woman. That statement rings true even still to this day.